welcome back to my channel, guys. I am so excited for today's video. As you guys saw in the title, we'll be doing my October reading wrap up. Oh my gosh. Okay, I know like every month it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this month's over, but like October literally went super fast because I feel like I was just filming my September reading wrap up. Like I feel like it's just so fast. I am filming this a little early, which is not, you'll see at the end why that's important to note. But it's only, it's only 2 days before the month is over, 3 days before the month is over. So like, it's not that early, but I'm cutting one book close. Anyway, let's just jump in. This month I read 16 freaking books. I like really like booked it out of there. And I honestly feel like there were some that were like, honestly, there are there's only like one probably, I don't even know. I think there's one that I was kind of like, not that I forgot about, that like kind of I just took out of my memory. I was like, here, delete, Control Alt Delete, you're taking up too much space. The rest of them I feel like I really, they're ingrained in my soul. Like, so I feel like it wasn't like a rushed read or anything like that. So I feel like I just did really good. I've also been listening to a lot of audiobooks. So that obviously always ups the number too, because that goes a little bit faster. And then what was the other thing? There wasn't much. I did a few like vlogs this month that I was reading books for, so I'm sure you guys saw a bunch of those. Anyway, first, if you guys like monthly reading wrap-ups, if you guys like seeing all the books that I read in a month, if you guys want to know all the juicy tea, then definitely give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and without further ado, let's just get started. I was gonna say let's go with all the books that were on my TBR, but honestly, like most of these were on my TBR, so it's fine. Let's just go in order of how I read them. So first I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. We got a few little, you can't even see them, a few little tabs in there. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was great. I did give it 5 stars. Thinking back on it, I don't think it's anything special. Like, I feel like it's honestly on the same level as ACOTAR for me. Where like they're good. They're good and they're like a good fantasy book, but like I think there are better. And so I really do enjoy this book. I think definitely read it if you have not read it. These are YA, they're closed door, so that's really fun. It's very unique because so many fantasies, romances are open door, and it's like annoying sometimes, let's get real. I know not everyone wants to read that, but so that's why this one's super nice. But it's very reminiscent of other fantasies that you've read before, like everyone has read before, so it just depends. But I did enjoy it. There were some great moments, some great lines, and I really do love this book. So we gave that one 5 stars. Then I read From the Embers by Ali Martinez. These were all supposed to be in a video. A few of these were supposed to be in a video that did not go up. It was my fault, but I cut it. And I was like, oh, I just can't do this video right now. But we read From the Embers by Ali Martinez. I also gave this 5 freaking stars. I honestly wrote 5+ because I love this book so much. This is a book that I read. This is the second book I read in the month, and I was thinking about it the entire month because it's just so good. If you guys don't know, I've talked about this book before, but if you don't know, the premise of this is basically there is this there's these 2 couples, 2 best friends, the husband and wife who have like 2 kids, I think, yeah, then the husband and wife who have 1 kid, but they're all best friends. So then they all like go over or whatever, and they're hanging out, and then there's a fire. And the one guy gets out and he brings out a woman and he thinks that it's his wife, but it's not his wife. That's all on the back, and it's like that's just the beginning. That is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to this. This is open door, but it's very short, and I just love how breezy this book was. This is definitely going to be one that I reread. It's just breezy, and it's like not high stakes, it's like you're like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen, like what's the juicy tea, you want to keep turning, like it's just so good. And I honestly, like, people, no one talks about this. I did talk about this in my video of underrated books, but like read it, like for real, I'm not joking, this book is so good. I love it so much. And so then there are like kids in it, which I always love, like books with kids in it, and so this is just so much to this that I love. And you get to see like him be a single dad and then the girl be a single mom, like, so it just, there's so many dynamics to it that ends up being so good. There is a little bit of like mystery to it too, which Who would have thought? I don't know, but it's so good. So good. Okay, then I listened to this book on Audible, and I love this book as well. This is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is also a super underrated book. I talked about it in that video. But this book was just fun. I think I gave this 4 stars, which was just a fun, like, read. There's nothing, like, super dynamic about it or, like, you know, interesting or, like, you know, it's not complex in any way. It's just a breezy, fun, rom-com-y kind of read. So this girl works at, like, a nursing community, and this guy is actually the boss's son, who the boss is like, yo, my son needs to get his crap together, so here he needs to do something for you. So he works near her, I should say. They work around each other. So it's like kind of forced proximity, and it's not necessarily enemies to lovers, but it's like opposites attract, I should say, because she's supposed she like works at this like nursing community and is known to like dress like a elderly, like she wears like, you could even just see it in this picture, and that's why I was like, I hate these covers because she looks crazy, but I'm like, that was the point, and I didn't know that until after reading the book, and so I'm like, it's not a good, like, people are, you know, you say don't judge a book by a cover, but people do. Anyway, so, she is, like, dressed the elder, whatever. He's supposed to be, like, this rocker who, like, not rocker, but, like, this punk guy who, like, rides a motorcycle, you know, like, whatever. Opposites attract. It was just super fun and very enjoyable, so gave that one 4 stars. Then I read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I did not know The Ex-Hex was in, third person. And that really was a deal breaker for me. So I listened to this on Audible as well. And I did not like this book. I gave this 3.5 stars, and honestly, this is the only book that I kind of was like, Control-Alt-Delete, get out of my brain. It's just not enjoyable to me. I don't know. And this is, honestly, this was the lowest rated book on my Goodreads at the time, like when I started reading it, and I'm like, at first I was like, I wonder why, because, what is her name? I always forget her name. I don't know, a YouTuber I like really loved this book, and I don't know why. It's not an enjoyable book, and, don't recommend. Enough said. I just don't recommend it. I just felt like the characters, did not like the relationship, anything like that. So it's like, why read it? I don't know. This one I have to pop in a picture because I have not, I'm waiting for the paperback, but this, I read The Ballot of Never After by Stephanie Garber. So this is the second in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and I give this one 5 stars. Which I gave the first book, if you guys don't know, 4 stars, because it wasn't like my favorite, but I also gave Caraval 4 stars, and then I gave the second book, Legendary, 5 stars, so I'm like, it seems to be the trend here with Stephanie Garber, which is fine. Because the first book has to kind of be like your world building, your like fact giver, like it has to build the whole scene, set the tone. So it has to be a little bit different. But then the second one you could really get fun, and she really had fun. And I'm so excited to read the third one. I listened to them on Audible as well because they're in third person, and I feel like it's the best way to read third person books is when you're listening to it, because they're like telling you a story, and I love that. And Stephanie Garber, the person she chooses to read her books is perfect. Love her. Anyway, so I read this one, and I love this so much. The ending, I'm so excited to see what happens. Honestly, I'm glad that I bought these on Audible, because now I could just listen to them over and over again, which I will do. And I don't want to tell you anything about this book because honestly, go into it, like, we'll read the whole series. Caraval first, start with Caraval series, then read this one, and you'll just have a good time. Jax is, like, so exciting. Everything is so exciting. Oh, this is the one where there's a scene where, like, she's hurt and Jax is, like, he's just being so cute. I'm like, Jax. So good. Anyway, so I gave that one 5 stars. And then I read, I have it here, The Rebel King by Gina Maxwell. This one is the second in the King series. I don't know. What is it called? The Deviant King series. So I did read book 1 last month, and then I was like, okay, I just need the paperback of them, because I read them on Kindle Unlimited, and I love them so much. This one I did unfortunately give 3.5 stars, just because I felt like it was just a little bit slower than the first one. The first one I was like in it. This one I just feel like wasn't, it was like a little bit like basic of a story. So again, if you guys don't know, these are like Fae. It's like ACOTAR in LA. Is it LA? yeah, I think it's like whatever. It's Akatar in a city. So it's like they're like fae people or whatever, and they have they do fae things or whatever, but like they live in society where the human people don't know that they exist and that kind of stuff. But in this one there is a girl who she actually, whatever, she has secrets, but the girl and the main guy have been together, but it's like forbidden romance almost, because he's becoming king and he can't be with her, and so they have to figure that out. But then there's also like these people who are there's this guy who's like, whatever, they're doing like they're trying to stop these bad people, basically. It's just, I feel like it's just like a little basic of a story, but it was just like, okay, like I was like, I'll read it, but I wasn't like obsessed. But I gave it 3.5 stars again, which is saying a lot, because if I really didn't like it, I would give it lower than that, but I feel like 3.5 stars, it was good, wasn't great. Okay, then we have, I read, could not find it, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I love this book. I love the Harry Potters. These are so good. And this one was one of the good ones. I did listen to this again on Audible, and that just makes these go faster because they're so long. And this was a really good one. I just think that the books they're obviously, they have a few different scenes from the movies. They're just basically like the extended edition of the movies though, up until this point. And I really appreciate that, because I just hate when movies obviously change a bunch of stuff. So the movie didn't necessarily change anything. They just had to cut stuff out, which is, I appreciate, because obviously we're not going to watch a freaking 5-hour long movie. But I thought the book was just so good, and I always think the characters, I just love the character, like just seeing the characters in this, because it's honestly, they picked like the best people. I've talked about this I gave it 5 stars. I don't think I'm gonna give a Harry Potter book less than 5 stars. It's Harry Potter, they're perfection. Okay, then I was torn between this book. This was Wretched by Emily McIntyre. I love this book so much, but like honestly thinking back on it, I don't remember much about it, and so that obviously says a lot. So I gave it 4.5 stars. I'd probably give it like 4 stars. I think I gave it Goodreads 4 stars. I don't know, I was torn. I was like, do I want to give it 4.5? And then I was also like, I enjoyed it so much, do I want to give it 5 stars? This one actually was like a Wizard of Oz retelling, but at first I thought it was like I don't know, I thought it was like Dorothy and I don't know, like all the characters. But it's actually the not the witches, what are they called? The sisters. I don't know, I think they are witches. I don't know. But it's like the main girl, her name is, where's her name? Evelina, which the one, I don't know if it's supposed to be, whatever. The sister's name is Dorothy. In this book, the other, she's not the main character, is not Dorothy. And then the sister is like annoying and she's bad. So obviously the girl is the good one. Good one in this one. But these are dark romance, if you guys don't know, but they're so good. And what the heck was I gonna say? Oh, the guy in the main guy in this is actually an undercover worker. He's trying to infiltrate her business she got going on, and so it's so fun. Obviously it's like, again, forbidden because they're on opposite sides. He also has to basically arrest her at the end of the book, and so it's just like chaos. You know, he's supposed to arrest her eventually because she's like doing bad things, so it's just chaos. But it was so good. It was like a great kind of chaos. So I gave that one 4.5 stars. It was good. It's like, that one was a torn rating. This one I also gave it 5 stars. This is Travis by Mia Sheridan. I love this book so much. I also did end up listening to this, and I wasn't gonna, but it is just a fun, breezy read, romance. This is Friends to Lovers, which is just so much fun. Travis, if you guys don't know, in Archer's voice, he's just a little bit rough around the edges. You're like, Travis, what's going on with you? And so he definitely obviously gets some redemption. He has a whole book, and you kind of just like learn a lot about Travis and just how he was raised and what his thoughts were the whole time, obviously during Archer's voice, but also like when he was growing up. You just get to see a lot of why he was the way he was in Archer's voice. And so I love that he gets some redemption. The girl, her name is, what is her name? Oh my gosh, Haven. Oh my gosh, she's so much fun. She was so funny. She's kind of like this girl. She just doesn't want to stick around. She just wants to travel, just wants to be on the move. And so during the whole time, you're kind of like, what is going to be the result here? Like, are you guys going to leave the town? Are you guys going to stay? What's going on? And so there was just so much to it. I loved it. So good. And then the romance was just so good. So sweet. Okay, then I read this book. And I honestly, this is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. There is one scene that I think about from this book. I gave this 4 stars. And I honestly, I don't know, I just did not love this book. I probably would give it like 3 stars if I was being like really hard on myself. But I probably would go back and give Twisted Love like 2 stars. Like thinking about how much I don't like that book, but I gave it 4 stars, so I was like, okay, now if I gave that one 4 stars, I have to give this one 4 stars just so you guys can understand. But like honestly, I need to go change those ratings. But because this one I probably give like 3 stars, and there's just so long for no reason. You could cut 200 pages out of this book and it would be fine. There are enemies to lovers, and everyone says like this is how you do enemies to lovers when it's in a romance, but I'm like, honestly, no, because they really did not like each other for no reason. For no reason. They just saw each other and were just hated each other, and you're like, okay, whatever. This is also my best friend's brother trope, so it's like there's a lot to it. And then obviously the Twisted series, there's always something like, you know, more going on, and this one was good. I really liked the Twisted aspect to it, like the extra stuff to it, but I'm like, I didn't really like the romance. Like that's the biggest part of this, and it's just so annoying. But there is one scene that like is on repeat in my head, is the scene where they're at the, I just don't want to tell you all the juicy tea because it's so cute to read, but when they're at the ski lift and then she gets sick he takes care of her, I'm like, it was so cute. So that was cute, but like the rest of it, I'm like, that's one scene out of like 600 pages. Like, no, didn't need it. Okay. I'm just not a Twisted series kind of fan. I'm just not. Anna Huang did get her redemption in King of Pride. I loved these books so much. These are like 200 less pages than the other ones. Okay, it's like 100 less pages, but over 100, like 150 less pages, I should say. But these are so good. So you guys don't know, main character Kai. This is Kai and Isabella. It's also like forbidden romance almost, because he's like, he works at this, he's a billionaire, but all the billionaires go to like this special club. She works at the club, she's a bartender, and so they're not supposed to like go out with the, what is that called? The goers, the attendees, I don't know. They're not supposed to go out with them, and so obviously it's like, it's not supposed to happen, but also he's a billionaire and she's not, and so everyone's kind of like, we just don't do that around here, you know what I mean? But Kai does not care. Kai's like, honestly, I like her, so let's go out. And so it's actually just so much fun, and just seeing like Kai is just so cute, and honestly these Kais are doing it for me. And he's super sweet, and he's supposed to be like super prideful, which he is kind of prideful in his work, but he's not like, honestly, he's not really prideful. Let's honestly get real. He like, yes, he's like, oh my gosh, like I'm the best, like I don't lose, but when it comes to like his work, but like honestly he doesn't lose, and he didn't lose anything in this book, so it's like, sure, you just needed to call it something, I guess. I don't know. So cute. Gave it 5 stars. Then I gave, all of these I talked about in a recent vlog, so I'm not going to talk too much, but Caught Up by Liz Tomford, I gave this one also 5 stars. If you guys don't know, single dad trope. Kai is a single dad to old Maxie, and it's so cute. He's a helicopter dad. I love it. Miller is the coach's, he plays baseball, sorry. Miller is the baseball coach's daughter, and she nannies for Kai. And you could see where that goes. Super cute. Miller's an awesome character. Kai's an awesome character. Everything about it. Kai is just the sweetest. He's so cute. And you could tell, like, you know, he's just like, was put in this situation he doesn't want to be in. And you could just see him go through that and everything. And it's just so good. So freaking good. Give that 5+ stars. Then I read The Broken Vows by Katharina Mara. And honestly, I gave this 4 stars. It's like one of those. I feel like I should rate them all at one time. Maybe I'll do that next year, rate them only in this video, because I feel like my rating always changes. This I would give like a 3.5 stars, just because like thinking about it, I just don't like it. If you guys don't know, they this is childhood enemies to adult enemies. Childhood enemies to lovers to adult enemies to lovers. It's too many enemies for me. Anyway, so this is Zane and Celeste. If you guys have never heard of the Windor series, it's one of my favorite series of all time. So they all get in arranged marriages. The grandmother picks who they're going to marry. All the sons are going to marry. And so they also get in arranged marriages, but they have 3 three rules to follow so that they get their inheritance, but this is all across all the board of all books. So they have to be married for at least 3 years. They have to sleep in the same bed every night, and they can't be apart from each other for at least, I think it's three consecutive days or something like that. And so it just like always makes her a juicy book. This one is just hard because there is a past. So they grew up, they were younger, you know, they like were always rivals with each other and always fighting. And then she kind of just like, Celeste kind of just lets it go, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you like picked on me because you liked me, like like that's okay, whatever. So then something happens and they end up going back to enemies, but this is not like even Twisted Hate was not the level of enemies they were. They were like mean to each other, like bad to each other. Like Celeste was crazy. So Celeste went crazy on Zane. Then Zane retaliated and he was like, I'm not playing this game. Like, I'm gonna win. And they like hated each other. Like, it was bad. I did not enjoy it. It was not an enjoyable hate enemies to lovers kind of book. And so when they started, whatever. I don't want to tell you all the tea because then, like, in case you want to read it, but I also don't even know, like, if you should bother reading it because it's just so annoying. I just don't like books that are solely around, like, this was made, the whole book is the premise of a miscommunication or, like, lack of communication. Like, if Celeste would just do her research, like, if she actually figured out what the truth was, we wouldn't be in this predicament. I don't like that because it's like, because of your stupidity, we all gotta suffer through this. Like, really? No. Like, that's not. It wasn't enjoyable to me reading that. That being said, I really love Zane so much, and he was just so, like, throughout this whole thing, if I were Zane, no. No. Anyway, but he was just so sweet. I would just be like, yeah, I would just ditch the whole shebang if I was Zane, but that's why I still gave it 4 stars. But again, I'd probably give it 3 stars just thinking about it, because I'm like, thinking about it, I just never get any of the good feels. It's just all the bad feels. Okay. Anyway, then I read The Long Game by Elena Armas. This was another just fun, super breezy romance read. Nothing too much to it. Elena Armas tried to give the characters a little bit of depth, but I just feel like it wasn't well executed, their depth, especially Cameron's. Cameron's was like mentioned kind of, and then it was like whatever. But hers, I feel like it just wasn't like well developed, I should say. But this was just super fun, super sweet. The Long Game. So he's a retired soccer player, and she works for like a soccer company that ends up like basically kicking her out, and so she has to go work for a little league team, I don't know, whatever, the kids team, and then he's coaching the kids team, and so then obviously, you know, they like live in cabins next to each other. It's all the stuff that make up for a good, fun, breezy, rom-com-y kind of book. But it was just like not all that, but I did give it 4 stars still. I'd probably stick to around there, maybe 3.5. This one it was hard for me to rate this one because I'm like, it was so slow in the beginning, but the ending was so cute that I was like, I had to give it 4 stars, but I don't know. I just torn. Just ignore my rating. I just don't ever listen to my rating. Just listen to what I am explaining it as, because I feel like the rating is so hard. I feel like it's just like the thing people do, but like I don't need to do it. Whatever. Okay. Then we read Wildfire by Hannah Grace, 5 bajillion stars. This book was so good. If you guys don't know, they meet at a party, and then they end up being summer camp counselors together, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't fancy seeing you here. And so they have to be summer camp counselors together. I've highlighted a few things in this, and they had some great one-liner. Hannah Grace is just incredible. I think her specialty is definitely giving you the stuff you want, and so she gives you a bunch of the couple, like they're doing cute things, like they go on, like they sneak away and go on like a picnic, like swim in the lake, like it's just cute moments that you want and that most books deprive you of. She gives it to you. She's like, here you go. But also still, by making it fun and like entertaining, again, these characters actually have depth. They have issues. I feel like I love that this book is kind of like, it's honestly very similar lives, like mirrored obviously between a girl and a boy, and so it's like, it's super cool to see like their similarities and obviously the difference, but it's so cool to see their similarities, because most books will make them complete opposites, or not complete opposites, but like have different issues, but this one was like pretty similar, and so I love that. I don't want to tell you anything else because go into it blind. 5 bajillion stars. Okay, last but not least, I read, okay, I'm in the middle right now while I'm filming it. This is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, but I am gonna finish it before the end of the month. Like I was saying earlier, I have a few days left, so I'm gonna finish it before the end of the month. I'm listening to this book currently. It is just so freaking long, but I know that this is gonna be the only book I fit in before the end of the month. I'm literally halfway. And so, I'm enjoying it so far. It's just so long for no reason. Like, truthfully, no reason. Like, it really does not need to be this long. And so I'm so glad the movie was not this long, because there's just, I'm halfway, and this is only the first, this is only the first, what do they call it? The first task. So this is only when they get up to the dragons, and that's all of this. I'm like halfway in the movie. I don't know, I feel like we're halfway through the trials. We're pretty deep in there. So I don't know, this is a long book in my opinion, but I'm probably gonna give it 5 stars anyway because it's Harry Potter. And there are some good moments to it that I appreciate. There is some extra things that I like. Like Hermione she loves the house elves, and she's like trying to like get house elf rights, and so I'm like, obviously they don't even talk about that at all in the movies, but it was so cute because obviously you think of Dobby and you're like, Dobby needs to get paid for his work, okay? And so she's trying to get all these elves paid. It's so funny. And then what was the other thing? There's just a few other things that I just appreciated, and so I enjoy the longer edition, but like I'm like, this one is extra long edition. We probably could have cut like 200 pages out of this one. Anyway, those are all the books that I read this month. Let me know what you read this month. Did we read any of the same books? Oh my gosh, I already have my TBR set for next month, so we'll see how many books I read. I'm probably not going to be 16, but again, with listening, between like listening to some books and like some books just being so good that I couldn't put them down, I read a lot, you know, like it was just what it's gonna be, but it's not practical at all. Anyway, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, nerds.